Wow, OP. I'm glad you're good, man. Brent, I'm glad you're good, dude. Just going into her phone, and some people be against going through the couple's phone. I'm not against that. It's a red flag.
Subject: my wife had a hidden folder, and what I found shattered everything. Hi, True. First off, I just want to say thank you for giving guys like me a space to share our stories. I've been watching your videos for months now, ever since I moved out of the home I shared with my wife and found myself in a spiral. Hearing other men speak about betrayal, pain, recovery, it helped me stay sane. I promised myself that once my divorce was final, I'd write in. So, here I am. My name is Brent. I'm 35 and I just finalized my divorce about 6 weeks ago. I've been sitting on this story, unsure of how much to say or whether it even matters anymore. But something about your platform makes it feel like the right place. Maybe there's another man out there who needs to hear what I'm about to share. Maybe I just need to finally let this out. Let me take you back to the moment everything broke. The locked folder. It was a Sunday afternoon in early January. My wife Elaine had left her phone on the coffee table in our living room. She was asleep in the bedroom, and I was watching TV, but my mind kept drifting. Something had been feeling off for a while. The nights out with her friend were becoming more frequent. She was smiling less around me. Intimacy had become mechanical, if it happened at all. I wasn't planning to go through her phone. I really wasn't. I know how that sounds, but the thing is, when your gut starts screaming at you loud enough, you can't ignore it forever. Her phone wasn't locked. I knew her passcode. I'd known it for years. So I picked it up, hesitated for a second, then opened it. I went into her photo gallery, which I'd never really done before. That's when I saw it, a folder titled Private, locked with a password. My heart dropped into my stomach. Now I'm not a tech genius, but I know how Elaine thinks. She's never been the most creative with passwords. I wondered, could it be the same as her phone code? I tapped in those same 4 digits. It unlocked. What I saw still haunts me. I'm not even exaggerating when I say that folder changed my life in a matter of seconds. Video after video, photo after photo. My wife, doing things I never even imagined she was into, and not with me. With a man I'd never seen before. And in several of the videos, her best friend, the same one she always went out with, was there too, participating. There were timestamps. Some of these videos were taken months ago. Others were as recent as 2 weeks prior, same rental condo, same bedroom I slept in every night. I sat there frozen, just staring at the screen while everything inside me shattered. I wanted to vomit, scream, pass out, all at the same time, but I didn't. I quietly walked to the bedroom and stood over her. She looked peaceful. I tapped her shoulder. She stirred, groggy, and mumbled, "What's up?" "I need you to wake up." She sat up, eyes half open. "Why? What's wrong?" I couldn't even speak at first. My hands were shaking, and my throat was dry. Finally, I held up her phone. I saw what's in the folder. At first, she looked confused. Then she registered what I meant. Her face went pale. I don't remember exactly what I said. I do remember crying. I do remember telling her we were done. I do remember her begging, trying to reach for the phone, asking me to please not jump to conclusions. Conclusions? I told her I was filing for divorce. I packed 2 bags, called a friend, and was gone by nightfall. The backstory. Elaine and I met 6 years ago on a cruise to the Caribbean. I'd just gotten a big promotion at work, and my brother convinced me to splurge and take a trip. Elaine was there with her best friend. Yep, the same one from the videos. She was magnetic, tall, graceful, with a warm smile and a sarcastic wit that caught me off guard. We danced, drank, laughed under the stars. It was one of those whirlwind romances you see in movies. We kept in touch after the cruise, flew to see each other. A year later, we were living together. Another year after that, we got married. We rented a condo together in a quiet neighborhood just outside San Diego. I always assumed we'd buy a home eventually, but something always came up. Elaine wasn't too interested in settling down in one place. I chalked it up to wanderlust. Our marriage had its ups and downs like any relationship. She was always close to her best friend. They had known each other since high school. They'd go out at least twice a month, sometimes more, and occasionally Elaine would stay the night at her friend's place. She always said it was because they were drinking and she didn't want to drive home. I believed her. In hindsight, I see all the signs now. The lawyer. A week after I left, I found a lawyer. I wanted someone sharp and experienced. A buddy of mine who had gone through a nasty divorce recommended someone he called a bulldog. I made the call, scheduled a consult, and brought every screenshot, photo, and backup I had of Elaine's folder. I also backed everything up to the cloud and 2 USB drives. I wasn't taking chances. My lawyer was calm, methodical, and asked all the right questions. She told me I had a solid case, especially since we didn't own property together and didn't have kids. That made things simpler in the eyes of the court. Elaine was served 2 weeks later. She showed up at my friend's place that night in tears. I refused to let her in. She stood outside for almost 20 minutes, sobbing and yelling that I was throwing away everything we built. She swore the videos were just one mistake and that she wasn't thinking clearly. A few days later, she sent me a long email saying she would end her life if I didn't at least meet with her. I took it seriously and forwarded it to both my lawyer and a therapist friend of mine. My lawyer told me not to engage directly and instead call a wellness check through the police. I did. She was fine. But her manipulation didn't stop there. The courtroom circus. By the time we reached court, Elaine had morphed into a different person. She showed up with a new lawyer and a whole new personality. She claimed I had emotionally abandoned her. She claimed I was verbally abusive. And here's the kicker. She told the court she had proof that I was gay and that I'd been living a lie the entire marriage. I sat there stunned. She said she had videos, claimed she caught me in compromising situations. The judge asked her to present them. She didn't have any. Of course, she didn't. It was a circus, an absolute insult to my intelligence and to the years I spent loving and supporting her. The court saw through most of it. My lawyer presented the folder, the videos, the timeline, and evidence of her manipulation. The fact that we were in a rental condo and I had already moved out worked in my favor. The judge granted the divorce without much resistance. I walked out of that courthouse feeling like I could breathe for the first time in months. Life after her. I'm not going to pretend I bounced back right away. I didn't. The first few weeks after I left were a blur. I stayed on my friend's couch, cried more than I'd ever admit in public, and questioned everything about myself. Was I not enough? Did I miss something huge? How could I have been so blind? But eventually I started getting better. Small things helped. Going to the gym, journaling, watching your channel, talking to other men who'd gone through similar betrayals. I even started therapy, which has been one of the best decisions I've ever made. Elaine tried reaching out a few more times, sent letters, left voicemails, even emailed me screenshots of old photos of us from that cruise, saying, "This is the real us." But I don't even know who that person is anymore. She died the moment I opened that folder, to the men reading or listening. If you're reading this or listening to it on YouTuber's name's channel, and you're in a relationship that feels off, don't ignore your gut. You're not crazy. You're not paranoid. Sometimes the truth is uglier than you imagined, but at least it sets you free. Don't let manipulation disguise itself as love. Don't let someone else's lies become your shame. And if she threatens to hurt herself because you're leaving, take it seriously, but do not let it trap you. Get professionals involved. Protect your peace. Today, I'm slowly rebuilding. I found a small apartment, Started writing again, something I gave up years ago, and I'm focusing on what I want: peace, authenticity, and real connection. I may never understand why Elaine did what she did, and I've stopped trying. I'm focused on my healing, not her chaos. Thanks again for reading this. If you decide to share it, I hope it reaches someone who needs to hear it. Take care. Brent. Update from Brent. My ex-wife's mental breakdown after the divorce. Hey, True. It's Brent again. I want to thank you and your viewers for taking the time to read my first email. I didn't expect the outpouring of support, and it meant more than I can put into words. Just having people say, "You did the right thing," that alone helped me sleep at night. I'm writing with an update I never expected to give. I mentioned in the last email that Elaine, my ex-wife, threatened to take her own life if I didn't take her back after serving her the divorce papers. At the time, I thought it was manipulation, and I still believe a large part of it was. But what's happened since then has shown me that her mental state wasn't just unstable. It was on the edge of collapse. Elaine has now been checked into a psychiatric hospital, and this is how that happened. It started with the emails. After the divorce was finalized, things went quiet for a while. I blocked Elaine on everything: phone, social, email, but she found ways around it. First through fake Instagram accounts, then with burner emails. They all followed the same cycle: rage, guilt, tears, seduction, and threats. Sometimes all in the same message. She would send me videos of her crying, saying she couldn't breathe without me. The next day, I'd get a rant calling me a narcissist who ruined her life. Then another message with nothing but "I'm sorry" repeated 20 times in the subject line. One night I got 38 emails in a row between 2 and 4 a.m. I didn't respond, not once, but I kept everything. My lawyer told me to document it all. Then came the photos. She started sending me old selfies of us together. Then pictures of herself, in lingerie, in bed, in the bathroom mirror, trying to get my attention. It was desperate, not sexy. Something about it felt off. Her eyes looked hollow in every picture, like she wasn't even in her own body anymore. The break-in attempt. About 3 months after the divorce, I moved to a new place. It was a small house just outside of town, nothing fancy, but peaceful, exactly what I needed after all the chaos. One night, around 1 a.m., I heard banging at my back door. I grabbed a flashlight and went out, thinking maybe a raccoon knocked something over. But it wasn't an animal. It was Elaine. She looked completely out of it. Hair matted, no shoes, wearing a hoodie I hadn't seen since we were married. Her eyes were wild. She was screaming, "Brent, open the door. You have to talk to me. You can't ignore me forever. I'm your wife." I didn't open the door. I just called the police and watched her through the blinds while she pounded on the door and then collapsed onto the back steps, sobbing. When the cops arrived, they asked if I wanted to press charges. I said no. I just wanted her gone. She was escorted off the property, but the officer told me she'd been flagged for erratic behavior on a wellness call a few weeks prior. That was the first time I realized this wasn't just post-divorce drama. The friend reached out. A week later, Elaine's best friend, the same one who was in those videos, messaged me on Facebook. We'd never been close. In fact, I always thought she was a bad influence. But this time, she seemed genuinely worried. She said Elaine hadn't been eating, was barely sleeping. She would go on 48-hour benders where she'd drink, cry, and play our wedding video on repeat. One time, she smashed every photo frame in her apartment. Another time, she called the police on herself and claimed I had broken into her place and assaulted her, even though I hadn't spoken to her in weeks. The cops showed up at my house again. I had to show them emails, texts, timestamps proving I was nowhere near her. They apologized and left, but the damage was done. I was living in fear of being falsely accused by someone spiraling out of control. Her friend said, "Brent, I don't even like you, but you should know. She's not well. She needs help." The grocery store incident. Then came the public meltdown. One afternoon, I was picking up groceries. I turned the corner in the frozen food aisle, and there she was, Elaine, wearing pajama pants, no makeup, and staring into a pint of ice cream like it held the meaning of life. I tried to backtrack, but she saw me, and that's when she lost it. She dropped the ice cream and sprinted toward me, screaming. Not crying, screaming, telling everyone within earshot that I was her husband, that I was trying to kill her, that I'd left her with nothing. I froze. People pulled out their phones. One guy stepped between us thinking he was protecting her. I had to walk out without my groceries. Security held her until police came again. Another incident report. Another check in the spiral column. Her mother called me. Elaine's mother and I never had a good relationship. She always thought I was too quiet, too reserved. But after the grocery store incident went semi-viral online, yes, someone posted it, she called me. I was shocked. Her voice cracked. She said, "Brent, I didn't know how bad it had gotten. She's not okay. We're trying to get her into a facility, but she keeps refusing." I asked what happened to her job. She told me Elaine had stopped showing up 2 months prior. HR tried calling. She cursed them out in an email and sent them an inappropriate video file by accident. She was fired. I asked about her living situation. Her mom said she was behind on rent and had been evicted. She was bouncing between motels and her best friend's couch. I'll be honest, I felt sorry for her in that moment. Not enough to go back, not even close, but I felt pity because this woman I once married was gone, replaced by someone I didn't recognize. The hospitalization. The final incident happened at a local park. Elaine was seen yelling at a tree, not metaphorically, literally screaming at a tree, accusing it of being me, telling it ruined her life, stole her dreams, and made her feel ugly. People called the police. Again. This time, instead of jail or another warning, the officers invoked a 5,150, an involuntary psychiatric hold. She was taken to a hospital for 72-hour observation. After 2 days, the doctors extended it. That's where she is now, in a facility, getting evaluated. I've been told she's being diagnosed with bipolar disorder with psychotic features. Maybe there were signs before, mood swings, delusions, paranoia. I don't know. I thought she was just high energy, dramatic, emotional. Turns out it was deeper than that. What I've learned, I'm not writing this for sympathy. I've had plenty of sleepless nights over this, but at the end of the day, I know I did what I had to do. Elaine's illness doesn't erase her choices. She chose to lie, to cheat, to gaslight. The locked folder didn't record itself, but I also now understand that mental health and infidelity sometimes intertwine in ways that are hard to untangle. She was unstable. That doesn't excuse what she did, but maybe it explains some of it. Would I ever go back? No, not in a million years. But I do hope she gets help, for her sake, for her family's sake, and for anyone she might date in the future. Final thoughts. To anyone reading this who's dealing with a partner who shows red flags, don't ignore them. Don't wait until it's this bad. I didn't marry a crazy person. I married someone who hid their damage behind charm, sex, and a fake smile. And by the time I saw the truth, it was too late. Divorce saved my sanity, and even though the past year has been a roller coaster, I'm still grateful. Grateful for the truth, grateful for my freedom, and grateful to be alive and finally at peace. Thanks again for reading this. If even one guy hears my story and decides to protect himself, then sharing it was worth it. Take care.
A woman says, I don't like going through each other's phones. That's just not my thing. Yeah, you know you're going to get caught doing something or saying something you have no business doing with another person as a married woman. You went through her stuff, rightfully so. You found out the truth. Now, just imagine if he never went through the phone. Oh, my gosh. Salute to you, man. I'm glad you're doing good. You tried to lie on you. He made video. No, you made videos. Stop trying to project. You're in divorce court trying to project still. Lying. Oh my gosh. Guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments. I'm gonna catch you guys at the next one.